All right, so now we're going to move on to some geometry topics. The first one in geometry that we're doing is angles. Okay, fairly straightforward concepts. We've done all of them in O levels, so I'll try to be quick. First of all, what's an exterior angle of a triangle? Let's say you have this triangle. If you extend any side of the triangle like this, the angle that you get on the on the outside here, at the outside here, this is called the exterior angle of the triangle. Okay. Now, this exterior angle is always equal to the sum of the other two angles in the triangle, the angles on the other side of the triangle, A and B. So x equals A plus B. Okay. The reason for that is if this is C, the remaining angle is 180 minus C. And it's a triangle. In a triangle as well, the total angles are 180. If this angle is C, the remaining angles are going to be 180 minus C in total, right? So that means that exterior angle X is supposed to be equal to the sum of the other two angles. X equals A plus B. Is that okay? All right. So that's called the exterior angle theorem. You need to know this. You sometimes have to use it. Let's have a look at this now. You have this triangle. C and E lie on AB. What's the value of X? Can you figure that out? What's the value of X? If this is 100, we can say this is 80. If this is 3x, we could say this is 180 minus 3x. Or another way to think about this could be that exterior angle theorem that we just discussed. This is the exterior angle, 3x. We could say this is equal to the sum of the remaining two angles, x plus 80. Now, there could be a longer way of doing this. This is 180 minus 3x and then add all of those angles to make 180. That's also fine, right? But this is much quicker. If you know that exterior angle theorem, you know that 3x, this is an exterior angle. This is supposed to be equal to 80 plus x. Okay? And that gives you x equal to 40. That's the value of x. Is that all right? Okay. Now, this is important. Again, all of these properties you've done in O levels for parallel lines. You have some angles that are called corresponding angles, alternate angles, vertically opposite angles, right? We need to know about all of these properties. So let's say you have these two parallel lines, L and M. Which angles are equal? So these are parallel lines. Let me just make these two arrows here like this. First of all, vertically opposite angle. That's why congruent means equal, right? So when they say congruent, that means they're equal to each other. They're the same. Okay, just like congruent triangles, they're equal triangles. Vertically opposite angles are equal. That means 2 and 3 they're equal. 1 and 4 are equal. 6 and 7 are equal, and 5 and 8 are equal. These are called vertically opposite angles, right? Any two lines, these angles are equal, and these two angles are equal. Okay. Then you have alternate angles. If you have two parallel lines and you have a line passing through like this, angle 3 is alternate to the angle 6. These are alternate angles. These are equal to each other. Angle 4 is equal to angle 5. These are also alternate angles. Okay. Then you have corresponding angles. Angle 3, for instance, is going to be the same as angle 7 as well. These are corresponding angles. Similarly, angle 4 and 8 are going to be equal, right? And 2 and 6 are going to be equal, and 1 and 5 are going to be equal. These are corresponding angles. Is that okay? And overall as well, you can see All of these four angles are equal. 1, 4, 5, 8. They're all the same, the green ones. 2, 3, 6, and 7, they're also all the same. Right? They're all equal. All of you know these properties, right? These properties, right? Okay, good. Now the other ones are not that important. Yeah, but this one is important actually. 3 and 5. The interior angles on the same side here, their sum is always 180. Similarly, on the other side as well, 4 plus 6, their sum is also 180. Okay? So you have to be able to use all of these properties to find unknown angles in diagrams like that. Okay? No problems? Now it also works the other way around. Whenever you have two lines like this given, let's say you have a line L and a line M, and you know that the angles 3 and 6, for instance, they're equal to each other. That implies that these lines are parallel. Okay? Because otherwise they cannot be parallel. Otherwise they cannot be equal. 3 and 6 can only be equal if the lines are parallel. Right? Similarly, angles 3 and 7, which are corresponding angles, they can only be equal if the lines are parallel. So those properties work both ways. If the lines are parallel, you have alternate angles, you have corresponding angles, you have, what was the other one? Vertically opposite angles, right? In that case, in fact, it doesn't work. Alternate angles and corresponding angles. If the lines are parallel, both of them exist. If alternate angles are equal, that means the lines are parallel. And if corresponding angles are equal, that also means that the lines are parallel. These properties work both ways. Okay? All right, let's do some examples now. In this figure, AC is parallel to GD. BF is parallel to CE. These are parallel lines, and BF is this, and CE. These are also parallel. What's the value of X? How can you find X now? Now, there could be many different ways of getting to that final result. Let's think of one possible way. We could say if this angle is 40, this is also 40, right? Which property? Corresponding angles, right? And if that's 40, we know what this is going to be. In a triangle, the sum of angles is 180, so that's 70. If this is 70, X is 1. Or we could use exterior angle property here as well. We could use exterior angle property now as well. We could say X is equal to 40 plus 70 at this point, which is 110. Right? You could do it any way you want. Okay. Now, this is the second important thing that you need to know in angles. Sum of angles in a polygon. Polygon क्या होता है? Polygon is triangle, quadrilateral, pentagon, hexagon. These are all polygons, right? What's the sum of angles in polygons? In a triangle, the sum of all angles is 180. In a quadrilateral means four-sided figure, the sum of angles is always 360. In a pentagon, it's 540. In a hexagon, it's 720. You see the differences are all 180, right? If you increase one side, the sum of angles increases by 180. The formula that we have for this is this. N minus 2 into 180, or 180 into n minus 2. If you want to find the sum of angles of an octagon, for instance, octagon kya hota hai? It's an 8-sided figure. Octagon is an 8-sided figure. What's the sum of angles for an octagon? N is 8, so you'll say 180 into 8 minus 2, and that will give you the result. Okay, which is going to be 1080 degrees. That's the sum of angles of an octagon. Okay. This is the formula that you need to remember. 180 into n minus 2, or n minus 2 into 180. What's a regular polygon? Regular polygon is a polygon that has all sides and all angles equal, right? For a regular polygon, if we want to find each angle, what can we do for that? So for example, for an octagon, the sum of angles is 1080. What's one angle? 1080 over 8. We just divide that by 8. If all the angles are equal and there are 8 angles, we can just divide by 8 to find each angle. What's this number going to be? Anyone? 135. That's each angle if the octagon is regular. Okay. Now you could extend this formula for that. For each interior angle of a regular polygon, you would say this is n minus 2 into 180 divided by n. That will be each angle of a regular polygon. Is that okay? Any problem with this? No? What's the sum of exterior angles of a polygon? Sum of all exterior angles. Does anyone know that? You've done that in O levels as well. Sum of all exterior angles. What are exterior angles? For a triangle, this is one exterior angle, this is another exterior angle, this is another exterior angle. Sum of all exterior angles is always 360, no matter the number of sides. It's always 360 because you complete one full round, that's 160. Sum of exterior angles is always 160. Okay? All right. So these are two main things that you need to know in angles: external angle theorem, and then using that, alternate angles, corresponding angles. Not using that, but apart from that, alternate angles, corresponding angles, vertically opposite angles, and then sum of all angles in a polygon, n minus 2 into 180, where n is the number of sides. For one angle, for a regular polygon, you can divide this by n. Is that okay? Now, just look at some examples before we end. In this figure, two sides of a regular polygon are extended to form a triangle. What's the value of x? What's the regular pentagon? It's a pentagon. It's a regular pentagon. That means all angles are equal. What's the sum of angles? 540. 5 minus 2 into 180. That is 540. What's one angle going to be? 540 over 5, which is 108. So one of these angles is 108. So this is 108 and this is also 108. That means we know what this angle is, what this angle is. We can find them, right? 180 minus 108, that's 72. And this is also 72. 180 minus 72 minus 72, that's going to be the value of x. Okay, because sum of angles in a triangle is 180. 180 में से आप subtract कर दें 72 and 72. What do you get from that? 36. That's the value of 30x. Okay. Hajra has just become very active because she wants the class to end already. So she's saying, "Jaldi se bas kare, bas khatam kare isko." Okay. In the figure, lines J and K are parallel and lines L and M are parallel. What's the value of x? How do you figure this out? If this is 85, this is also 85. Okay, then if this is 85, then we can say this is also 85 because of these two parallel lines. These are parallel lines. These are alternate angles, right? 85 and 85. These are alternate angles for that. What about x now? If this is 60, what else can we do now? Sorry? How can that be 60? It's a straight line. 180 minus 60 minus 85, what's that? 35. This is going to be 35. And if this is 35, this is also 35 alternate angles. And then you'd say x is 180 minus 85 minus 35, which is 60, right? Right about that. So this angle, so yeah, so a quicker way of doing this could be, quicker way to approach that would be, you would say, if this is 60, this is also 60. And if this is 60, you think of these two parallel lines. X is corresponding to that 60, so this is also 60. Yeah. Okay? All right. Let's have a look at this. Very good. Nimra? Okay, sorry. Let's be quick about this. In the figure, two triangles share a common side. हमने दरम्यान में वैसे break ले ली थी. We had a 5-minute break in the middle, right? No? We had 1 minute break, sir. We said 1 minute, but we eventually got 5 minutes. Because वो projector नहीं चल रहा था. But anyway, let's do this very quickly. Two triangles share a common side. What's the value of x plus y? If this is 100, what about this angle? 260. 360 minus 100, that's 260. Now it's a 4-sided figure. The sum of angles is supposed to be 360. So that means x plus y plus 70 plus 260 is supposed to be 360. So x plus y equals 30. Is that okay? It's a quadrilateral. Sum of angles has to be 360. So x plus y turns out to be 30. Make sense? No problems? Okay, last two examples, very quickly. In the figure, lines L and M are parallel. What's the value of A plus B plus C plus D? Can we figure this out somehow? A plus B plus C plus D. Do we have enough information for that? Is it D?
It cannot be determined.
All of you agree to that?
Yes.
It cannot be determined?
Yes.
This is also A, vertically opposite angles. This is also B. This is also D. And this is also C. It's a quadrilateral. Sum of angles in a quadrilateral, 360. A plus B plus C plus D is 360. So it can be determined. Is that okay? Okay, one last question. Yeah, it is the last one. It is the last one. 1 minute upar hai, sir. Okay. In the figure, point D lies on AB and point E lies on BC. What's the value of A plus B? This is not that difficult. Pretty straightforward. A plus B.
100.
If this is 70, what about this? This is 80. ABC, the bigger triangle, the sum of angles in that is supposed to be 180. So A plus B is indeed 100. That's 100.
So why do you have 70 and 30?
Why would you do that?
I don't know. But it makes
Could do that, yeah, because this is common. So if this sum is 100, this sum should also be 100. Because what the other angle is common to the triangle. Yeah.